Now I'd like to talk about some Total Life Cleanse foundational principles based on the principles of Ayurveda, which is really what this cleanse has been founded on. But here's a great quote by Hippocrates, the father of modern Western medicine. He said, "It's more important to know what sort of a person has a disease than to know what sort of a disease a person has." Pretty cool. TLC Foundational Principles, Ancient Wisdom for Modern Times. There are some key Ayurvedic terms that I like people to really understand, because these principles, if you understand them, you will understand why exactly you're doing the cleanse. And these are very common sense principles based on the principles of Ayurveda. I'm going to teach you the Ayurvedic words just because it's kind of nice to know them. The first one is Buddhi, and maybe you've heard the word Buddha before. Buddhi means innate, inborn aspect of universal intelligence. So Buddhi means the intelligence that's in you that's automatically functioning. It's the same intelligence that controls the laws of nature, the same intelligence that causes the solar systems to function, to move around the sun, how everything works with incredible order and very, very powerful laws of nature. Those same laws function in our human body, mind, and spirit, and that's called Buddhi. Prajnaparadha, very important word. Prajnaparadha means the original cause of all disease. It means to offend our own wisdom and experience. Like I said, it's considered to be the original cause of disease. Prajnaparadha, prajna means knowledge or experience. Aparadha means to go against love. That's what it actually means, to go against love and affection. So when we do things that against love or against our own experience, against our own wisdom, against our own intuition, against our own knowing, and if we do that enough times, we develop patterns and habits that don't serve us. They eventually will lead to disease. And when I say disease, I also mean dis-ease. It can be a physical disturbance that doesn't necessarily mean a quote disease like cancer or diabetes, but it can be a feeling of not feeling well, which eventually then can lead to a real symptom, a real disease that has a name. Prana, intelligent, vitalizing life force and awareness. Prana, it's related to the chi, or the channels of energy that go through the body. The Germans call prana the bioelectric energy of the body. In Chinese, we call it the chi, and in the Ayurveda, it's called prana. So it's an intelligent flow of energy. There's 5 major flows. We're not going to go into great detail of those flows right now, but I will just say that there's an inner flow of energy, an upward flow of energy, an outward flow of energy, a flow that controls digestion, and a downward flow of energy. Agni. Agni is that which consumes and transforms. It's the metabolic capacity of digestion, but it also has to do with the metabolic capacity of not just physical, but also mental. So it means, how well does your mind digest what you're hearing? How well does your stomach digest your food? How well do you digest your emotional experiences? So Agni is a very powerful, important aspect of health. And the last couple are Ama. Ama is considered to be the secondary cause of disease, which means accumulated toxins. Accumulated toxins come from the environment, but they also come from deficient digestion. So toxins that come from the outside, but also toxins that come from the inside when our digestion is not working sufficiently. We develop Ama. And then Ojas. Ojas is basically that which nourishes or strengthens and regenerates our tissues. It's the elixir of life, and it has to do with our immune system. So someone who has very strong Ojas means they have a very strong immune system. They have a great strength of resistance, where someone whose Ojas is quite weak, their strength and resistance will not be so powerful. A wonderful quote by one of my teachers, David Frawley, speaking about Agni. When Agni is sufficient, there will be no toxic buildups in the body. The mind and the senses will be clear and acute, and we will possess the energy to change our lives in a positive direction. When Agni is deranged, we will suffer from dullness, heaviness, stagnation, and cloudiness of emotion and perception. How do you improve prana? Prana is that vital life energy. By eating pure and vital foods, by breathing good air and drinking good water. Practicing breathing exercises, which we're going to go over in a little while, related to the cleanse. I have seen that when people practice the recommended breathing exercises during the cleanse, sometimes those practices are the most important thing that person gets out of the entire cleanse. Another thing is right use of mind, body, senses, and speech. Not overly taxing the mind, but but also using the mind enough. Not pushing the body too much, but using the body enough. Not overly stimulating the senses, but engaging the senses enough. And again, remember I talked about not talking too much. Talking is fine, but using your speech mindfully is really important. Internal and external exercises. What that means is that we have physical exercises, lifting weights, running, doing so many things, but there's also internal exercises which we're going to go over, which is part of the sadhana aspect of the cleanse, where you're learning to work with the energy flows of the body, the 5 pranas like I mentioned. These are exercises you can do the rest of your life, because these exercises, in one sense, are more important than even external exercises. These are ways of working with your own internal energy, and you can do them the rest of your life. Goodness and service to others, and doing things like yoga, tai chi, qigong, acupuncture, body work. These are all very powerful. Agni transforms food and water, air into us, into our tissues. It digests the sensory impressions and sums of our life experiences into wisdom. That's Agni. How to improve Agni? The fire of digestion. Eating according to our nature, or eating according to our body types. Not overeating. Think of Agni as a fire. If you put too much on the fire, you can actually put it out. If you put the right amount of wood on the fire, it makes the fire cook really nicely. Avoiding processed, toxic, and stale foods. Conscious eating, which we're going to go over soon. Eating consciously, how that impacts the Agni. Better breathing, using specific spices and herbs, like ginger, for instance. Periodic fasting or cleansing, like we're doing with the Total Life Cleanse. Minimizing, at times, sensory stimulation and overactivity. And also journaling, self-reflection, and meditation, because that's a form of digestion. How to reduce ama, or toxicity. That's a huge part of the cleanse. Right diet, a pure, light, organic, non-GMO, nutritious, and foods in the mode of goodness, that are in the mode of balance. Clearing your elimination channels. That means your urine, your bladder, your stool, moving your bowels really well, being able to sweat really well, breathing really well. All those things impact the elimination channels of the body, and also will allow you to eliminate toxins more effectively. Using discernment about how you feed your senses and mind, really important. We can take in toxins through the environment, through watching the news, for instance. There's a point where we go numb. At that point when we go numb, that means we're taking in toxicity, okay? And of course, decreasing your exposure to any kind of toxins. How to increase Ojas, that essence of the tissues, the essence of the immune system. Right diet and having good digestion. Number 1, very important. Highly nutritious sattvic foods. There's tonic herbs like shatavari for women, or ashwagandha for men, or ginseng. Right use of sexual energy. Ojas is highest in the reproductive fluids. So it's not like a celibate thing where sex is considered bad, but overuse can burn up a lot of Ojas. The right use of senses, not overheating. You know, video games are fine, but being on them for 12 hours a day will burn the senses. Always listening to loud music will burn out the senses. Always eating really rich food will burn out the senses eventually and burn out ojas. It's said that love, devotion, generosity, gratitude, qualities like that increase ojas. They increase that energy of ojas. And again, things like meditation, tai chi, yoga, qigong, all those things can increase ojas.